Jimmy G buckets gets buckets. Oh my goodness! Give me the hot sauce, Neil Thought. Give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Only 2.5 weeks left in the NBA regular season, and things are getting very interesting in both conferences. Welcome into a brand new episode of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. I'm Mark Shanowski alongside Stacey King and Timmy Whispers. Whispers, what's up? I saw you had your door closed. You got high-level meetings going on?
Lawyers always call you at the worst time.
Lawyers, you want to share with the group what you got going on?
No.
Okay. Anytime lawyers are involved.
I'm held by a confidentiality agreement.
Oh, my God.
Stacey got back from Philadelphia. It was a productive trip, a short one, but the Bulls winning in double overtime. The first time they have beaten a Philadelphia 76ers team with Joel Embiid on the court, which is pretty remarkable when you consider how long he's been in the league.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The streak is over. America. He was 12-0 against the Bulls.
Yeah.
I think we haven't beat Philadelphia with him in like 6 years or something. The streak is over. Okay, listen. I know this team is up and down. We get frustrated with this team. But this team did a lot of firsts this year. They ended a lot of streaks. Yeah. The Milwaukee streak, Miami. I mean, they've beaten some teams they're not supposed to be winning in Denver.
They beat Boston when they had a long winning streak going.
Exactly. So it shouldn't really surprise you that sooner or later that streak was going to end.
Yeah.
I mean, Embiid is such a dominant force. I don't think they have a good backup for him because he has to play a lot of minutes. And I said this last night in the game that I feel like with him, he needs 15 minutes rest at some point. When you had Drummond there, you were able to rest him 20, 25 minutes and then put him out there and close games for you. But and then the way he plays really reckless for a big guy. Like I said last night, he could never be a stunt man because he doesn't know how to fall.
That's right.
Seriously. You ever see him fall?
Right.
Like he falls hard. Like it's almost like, if you were running full speed and you had no arms and no legs and you just jumped and you just fell face right on your face. That's what he falls. I mean, when he fouled Kobe White, it should have been an offensive foul. He launched his body into Kobe.
I was afraid he killed Kobe. Oh my God.
I'm telling you. Kobe, you could tell a person's hurt when they're limping with both feet, both legs are limping. Normally it's one side, like the left side is hurting, but he had the left side, the right side, his arm, his shoulder, and he was walking back, like this, and you really felt bad for him.
I know he's lucky to survive that
because when you saw the video, you saw Embiid just launch himself into it. Most guys try to get contact but avoid it at the same time, because he's 280 pounds. He's probably more than that. But he's 280 pounds. He's very agile. And, most guys Euro step to try to avoid that and get a little ticky-tack foul. It's almost like he's trying to get hurt. Like he's trying to go on the injury reserve list at the end of the season. I don't understand why you're trying to stay healthy at the end of the season. America, you're not trying to go on the injury reserve at the end of the season.
Yeah. Well, he had 37 and 16, and there's no team in the NBA that can guard him. I mean, he's got all the moves.
Him and Giannis.
Yeah.
They're unguardable. I mean, they can get to the foul line anytime they want. But the problem with him is, Giannis is always on the attack. Giannis never lets you take a break. He's coming right at you every single time. He is in your face. He's in your grill. He's in your chest. This guy kind of takes plays off. I heard George Karl kind of called him out in the MVP race, saying that his body language and he takes plays off. He doesn't play hard all the time. You kind of see that a little bit. He's an all-star caliber. He's probably could be the most dominant big in the game right now. But when you watch him, he settles for a lot of jump shots. Even though he's highly skilled, he settles for a lot of jumpers. He took some threes last night. He hit them. He hit some outside jump shots. But a guy that big should be like Shaq in there, like dominant. Like, I'm going to get 40 on. I don't care who's guarding me. I'm going inside. I'm getting 40 on you tonight.
And he fouled out in the second overtime, and then you and Adam mentioned it on the broadcast. It was almost like, I'm tired. I've had enough. Get me out of here.
Yeah. Hey, how much time? How much time you say we got, Coach? We got another 5 minutes. I got how many fouls? 5. I don't care. 5. I don't care. 5 fouls. I'm going to foul on purpose.
And that was the difference in the game, because once he's off the court, Zach's able to drive down the lane, DeMar's able to get to his sweet spots and shoot his jumpers, and the Bulls took control in that second overtime.
It was kind of like Rudy Gobert when he fouled out the other night with Minnesota. Once he got out of the game, that opened up so many more driving lanes, and it was the same thing with Embiid. Once he went out, Not only does he's a good rim protector. I'm gonna give Joel Embiid his flowers. That dude he's a really good player. He plays hard. I mean, he plays hard on the defensive end and rebounds the basketball. But when he went out, there was no rim protection. And what did you see? Immediately, DeMar DeRozan drive the ball straight on Tobias Harris, right to the rim. As soon as that 6th foul went through, you saw Zach get to the basket. I'll give Zach credit. Zach was attacking Embiid when he was in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going right at him. He got a couple shots blocked, but they went at him, and I was really proud of the way they played when he was in the game.
I thought you were going to lose your mind when he got the ball stolen from behind.
Listen, man. Come on, man. Listen, I love Zach. I love Zach. Zach is an all-star caliber player, and we wouldn't be in this position right now if Zach wasn't playing the way he's playing in the second half here. But, man, come on, Zach. You act like you were playing a pickup game, like you were calling your own fouls. Like you
I got him in the backcourt,
foul, and he's just sitting there dribbling the ball. Okay, let's take it out. And the guy comes behind and knocks the ball. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like,
D'Anthony Melton. He hit the ground and he came behind him and tapped it away.
Now, to Zach's to his defense, he got fouled by Melton in the backcourt, but they did not call it. Once you heard there was no whistle, you got to keep playing. Yeah. And now he had a layup.
He had numbers,
He had numbers. He could have went right to the rim and dunked the ball. Yeah. But he was like looking at the referee. Oh, you're not going to call that? Like, hey, strolling on a Sunday afternoon. He's just like, all of a sudden the dude comes and knocks the ball out. And he's like, oh, my goodness, come on, man. And the same thing with DeMar. At the end of the regulation, had a chance to win it. 7 seconds
he tried to get cute on the dribble,
and dribble the ball out of bounds. And you're sitting there saying, no, not again. Because that's the first thing that you think of. When you're with this team, because there's been so many, peaks and valleys with this team all year long, and, opportunities for them to win, and then they find some way to lose, and so it was kind of like that last night. It's like, okay, regulation, we got a chance to close it out. We got the last shot. We went and got the rebound, did good defense on one end. Now it's time to close the game out. We got our best closer. 7 seconds, Debo's going to do it for us, and then drill the ball out of bounds. And
that was frustrating.
Zach turns the ball around.
Hey, give them credit. They were able to hang in there. 2 double overtime wins in their last 3. They've got a 3-game winning streak going. And
should be 4.
Yeah.
We should have beat Sacramento.
By
we were up 16 points on Sacramento, and we found a way to lose. That's the one thing that really scares you about this team is like they make a 16-point game look easy, and at the same time look like the worst thing that can happen to a team. It's like, you see it, oh, they're killing. They're up 27 on Miami. Miami cuts it to single digits. And it's like they find some ways to let the team back into the game, and they stop playing. They stop playing, stop executing. You can say, oh, the other team made shots. No. You're not defending. You're not scrappy. Last night they were scrappy. Last night they were taking charges. I mean, they were getting after guys. They were contesting shots. James Harden, the job they did on James Harden, I thought was the key to the game. I thought, putting Derrick Jones Jr. on him and to kind of use his length and size against him really caused him problems. They made him go to his left, got him out of the playmaking, part of the game, and, he struggled.
You guys almost got caught in the post-game interview with Derrick Jones Jr. You hear about this?
What's happening?
They were supposed to go to studio, for the start of the postgame show, and then you guys do the interview on tape, and they play it back. Well, they still had you guys hot when you were talking to them, welcoming them in and stuff. You guys didn't say anything. It was fine.
No, yeah, we're pros, Mark.
Yeah, I know.
We're pros.
But that's the lesson for all you young broadcasters out there. Anytime you got a microphone in front of you, don't assume that you're not being heard.
Let me tell you something, America. That's not our role. That's not our responsibility.
Right.
That's the people in the truck. And I'm putting it out there. I'm throwing everybody on the truck. Everybody who's on the truck. Anybody who has a hot mic, that's the people behind the scenes. That's their fault.
Right.
That has nothing to do with the now. Now, granted, we shouldn't. We got to be careful what we say. But if we're supposed to be off, we're supposed to be off. The mic's supposed to be closed, and me and Adam's the only one should be talking. I'm aware of this because I stayed cognizant of this because I've seen it happen so many times. So you have to be careful what you say because you never know where it's going to be, where it's going to and who heard it. But to your point, that's really bad because you can get some people in trouble like that, and that belongs on the truck. So I'm not calling out all my people individually, but you know who you are.
I think it was actually a mistake made in the control room because they were supposed to go to the studio and they kept that hot. Well, whoever made it, nothing happened.
Whoever did, you didn't. Hey, you tried to get me, baby. You try to get me and Adam.
We start bombing in 5 minutes.
There's a reason why me and Adam is one of the best in the game, babe. We keep our thoughts to ourselves and we don't let everybody know what's going on.
Hey,
it's kind of ironic that he played the John Walsh drop. The what?
Oh, yeah, the what?
John Walsh, of course, your longtime producer. The what?
Oh, you did that?
Yeah. Let's hear it again.
Let me hear it again. Okay. Yeah, you know what? But for America, you don't know what that is a classic line there. That was from the late, great Jim Boylan, coach for the Bulls, who said...
The late Jim Boylan.
Well, I mean, not...
He's still alive,
He's
folks.
still alive, America.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the late, great from the Bulls coaching tree, okay?
Yeah,
He's in his Bulls... He's in the Bulls cemetery. But he...
Right
he
next to Tim Floyd.
Yeah, next to Tim Floyd, Stan Albeck. I mean, come on now.
Red Hoiberg.
Oh, Lord, leave Fred alone, man. He's not here to defend himself. But that was from a quote from a basketball game when Jim Boylan was the coach, when he said that Luke Cornett reminded him of Robert Horry. And he said, he has the same kind of, game-changing ability Robert Horry has. He can shoot the three. He plays great defense. Yeah. And when he said that, I wasn't really paying attention. We had the great Layla Rahimi. She was the sideline reporter. Yeah. And so she posed a question to me and Neil. Guys, I interviewed Jim Boylan. He said that, Luke Cornett reminded him of Robert Horry. And he said with his playmaking ability, his defense. And that's when I said, what? And then I started laughing. I was like, because I thought it was like the most silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're comparing a guy who was just in the G League and brought up to a guy who's won seven rings. Yeah. And I was just like, are you serious? Like, who okayed this quote? Who okayed this little hot take? I'm like, oh my God. So JB didn't like it. He didn't like it. Unfortunately, he couldn't make me, hit the punch the clock, or he couldn't make me do any push-ups.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Right.
So he was a little salty but
hey, how about the Franklin Edwards?
I don't think anybody knows Franklin Edwards, Tim, but us.
Well, there's some old guys out there.
Hey, listen, for all you old guys, last night was really cool because the Sixers honored the 1983 World Championship team with Dr.
Mo had
J.
a suit
Moses,
on it,
So you had Moses Malone, the late great Moses Malone, who passed away. His sons were there. You had Bobby Jones. You had Mark Averoni. I mean, they brought back that whole team. Clint Richardson. And then Mo Cheeks. Mo Cheeks came, he had his suit on. He was the only coach with a suit on yesterday. And it was great seeing all those guys. And then Dr. J came out there, man. He came out there in his little Pimp Willie hat on. Dr. J still got class, though.
Yeah, he's cool.
I don't care what nobody says. He's cool, man. He came out with a little fedora on. He had a little stroll. And, they started talking to, thanking Philadelphia for all the things they did for them. And, and it's amazing that team only won one championship because they had a stacked squad. And, you had, there's 4 Hall of Famers on that team. And they only won one championship. So they made a comment to the Sixers, and I think that jinxed the Sixers last night. Dr. J says, hey, it's about time for this team to win a championship or whatever. And, it's time for them to step up and win a championship for the city of Philadelphia. And they lost. So shout out to Joel Embiid, the troll, he's always got some comments about how he dominates certain teams, and so they, he has a right to say that. When you beat, when a team man beats you in 6 years, you can talk trash, but no more. Ding dong, which is dead, baby.
And the rematch coming up at the United Center on Wednesday. So we'll see what they can make it 2 in a row over Joel Embiid and the 76ers. You know who's going to be in the crowd? I bet our good buddy Jeff Vukovich will be there. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance. It's our friend, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich, one of the most loyal supporters of all of Chicago's professional sports teams. You can reach Jeff at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And he's got the best jingle in the business, sung by my man Stacey.
Nationwide. And you need to get the tambourines from now. We're getting tambourines from here on out, okay? I'm tired of doing. I told you about getting the tambourines. Is by your side. We need a tambourine.
Got to get the accompaniment going.
Hey, Tito.
Next week we'll have the
Tito Jackson.
I don't know. It started to sound like some videos I watched in the 80s.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. So is that shirt. That shirt you're wearing is from the 80s, too. Oh, my God. No, seriously. I want the tambourines, and I want the little thing where you hit the little wood thing. You know what I'm talking about? I need that. I need that. That's what we're doing from here on out. We're going to make this a production. Okay, I'm tired of using my golden pipes to do everything. I need some help back here. Sriracha crew, I gave you guys a chance. Anyway, I need some more instruments. Okay, we're going live with this. We're going live with this next time. We're going live with the next show. We're gonna have a tambourine, and we're gonna have the little wood thing that goes. Okay, and then I'll.
You guys have tambourines and maracas at home, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh wow. Wow. See, look. I thought the same thing, D. Wow.
Really?
Why would they have that, Tim?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Wow. All right, Mark, get us back on the track.
Jeez.
Get us back on the track.
I gotta get a drink of water.
Wow, I tell you, oh
A
my
guitar,
God.
a dulcimer.
Get some more water.
What else you got?
Angel.
Good buddy Angel.
We are good buddy Angel.
Andy with Angel Water.
Angel Water. Trying to get some free advertisement, but
There
we're
you
not
go.
trying. Hey, Angel, don't be afraid to send that check, buddy. Chief of the Legs, I know you're mad at us, baby. Don't be afraid to send us that check, baby. We're going to start taking off labels. We've been known to do it. Baby. We'll put
That's
King's
Stacey's
Water
logo.
up there,
We can
baby.
paste on anything.
Put King's Water on there, baby. Come on now.
Hey, the Bulls are 8-4 since Patrick Beverley arrived. And I don't think it's a coincidence because he's out there, very vocal leader. He's going to call guys out if they're not where they're supposed to be, and he is feisty. He took a couple of silly fouls late in that game, but you never want to fault his effort because he's really brought the whole team with him.
He has been tremendous for this team.
Yeah.
8-4. You can sit there and say 8-4. The Bulls are good enough. They should have probably won 12, maybe 12-0. But he's brought a toughness. He's brought accountability. He's brought will to win. Mm-hmm. Patrick is not the same player he was 5 years ago defensively, but he gets out there. The one thing about him, he competes every night. He gets. I said last night he took because he's been hitting the 3-ball, and last night. There was a play in the game where it was like a one possession game. They swung it, and I thought he was going to swing it one more time to Zach in the corner, and he just shot it. And I was like, boy, he doesn't lack confidence.
No, he does not lack confidence.
He doesn't lack confidence because, but he feels that he shoots 37% for his career. He feels he can make those shots. And so, he's been shooting it well. And Caruso, Ayo have to make shots because when those guys are on the floor, you can see that defenses have no respect for them. Like those guys, whoever's guarding those guys are running off, doubling the ball, running off, basically crowding the lane where there's no driving angles. If those guys start making some shots and Patrick's knocking his down, Ayo's got to make his shots, Caruso's got to make some shots and not be afraid to shoot them. If you're open, you got to pull the trigger. You can't wait and should I shoot it? I don't know. Because when you start having that indecision, that's when you miss them.
Yeah, and Billy Donovan, it really has given him a long leash. He's playing more minutes than he has in recent years, and Billy wants him on the court in crunch time, which a lot of when he's playing with the Lakers, when he's playing with Minnesota, a lot of times he would not play down the stretch because he was not a great offensive player.
Well, and that's the reputation you get when you come in this league as a defensive player, and that's all people, they put you in that box. That's all he can do. He's not a scorer. He's not a ball handler. He's a point guard. I've been really pleasantly surprised with the way he runs the offense, how he can bring the ball up the floor. He reads defenses. He knows how to get Vooch the ball. He can break people down off the dribble and then be able to create. I think a lot of teams just basically said, we don't need you to do all these other things. We just need you to play defense and be an irritant on the defensive end. So I think now people are seeing that he has a pretty well-rounded game.
How about Derrick Jones Jr. yesterday?
Woo!
He played a huge role, had the key block on James Harden late.
Hey, listen, like he said yesterday, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
I said that in the
No
game
454.
too. Yeah, he didn't need no flex off 454. But I'm going to tell you something. To his credit and to Javonte Green's credit, these guys could go 2 weeks without playing, without getting in the lineup, DMP CDs, for 2 weeks straight. And then one day they need an infusion of defense. They need an infusion of energy. They put those guys in and they cause havoc. And you're sitting there, why isn't this guy playing more? I thought yesterday, having him on James Harden and stretches the game really frustrated James Harden.
He really
because
did, yeah.
Because his length, he could back off of and still close out on a shot. He's quick enough to move his feet and stop dribble penetration for James, because James has got that tricky dribble. He's got really nice handles, and he's very deceptively quick. But he did a good job of staying in front of him. And I'm going to tell you right now, the one person that's extremely happy in Derrick Jones Jr. right now is Patrick Williams, because Patrick Williams was guarding James Harden on that drive, and he blew right by Patrick Williams for the layup. That would have been a layup. 9 out of 10 times, that's a layup against this team. And you saw Derrick Jones leave his man and go up and challenge that shot and blocked it, and not only blocked the shot, but got the rebound.
Right.
Okay. He also in the third quarter hit a shot expiring 3-point shot that helped the Bulls, maintain the lead. So he did a lot of different things well out there, and I tell you what, he's a good kid. I'm so glad they kept him because it was like between him and Troy Brown, and I know Troy Brown is playing well in Los Angeles, but I'll take DJ all day long. Yeah,
he was a key factor in that win over the Sixers. Did a great job on Harden, as Stacey mentioned. Another guy on the bench waiting his turn is the first-round draft pick out of Arizona, Dalen Terry, and he's been getting a chance to play a handful of games with the Windy City Bulls out in Hoffman Estates, and he was outstanding on Sunday. Windy City had a big victory over the Maine Celtics, and Dalen Terry was a big reason for that. He had 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 steals, and he was guarding Denzel Valentine and Tony Snell, a couple of names from the past. Dalen Terry, that was his best offensive game I saw him, Stacey. He was aggressive-minded. He made some jumpers, and you could see his confidence kind of build. And I think it's great that they're giving Dalen the opportunity to play full-speed games at the G League level and kind of spread his wings a little bit, see what he can do.
Well, listen, I mean, this is what the G League's for. You got these guys. There's not a lot of practice time at the main level, so it's not doing these kids any good just sitting them on the bench, working on individual stuff with, individual coaches. They need game experience. They need reps. He needs to be able to play some point guard. He needs to be able to get a team in their offense. He needs to be able to guard someone coming off screens. And the only way you can do that is playing the G League. And he's young enough. He's a young player. It's his first year. And, he needs to down there to get as many reps as possible. He's able to do that. And a lot of the Bulls' younger players are able to do that. The kid from Indiana that we just got in the
Terry
trade.
Taylor, yeah, he was great.
I'm going to tell you something.
Sunday.
I'm going to tell you something. That kid can play.
Yeah.
That kid can play. Bulls fans may not be, used to him, have not seen him play, but Indiana, he gave the Bulls fits when we played him. I think last year he killed us. Had 20-something points against us, and he was just dominant. And now he's down in the G League getting some minutes because there's not a lot of playing time at the main level. So these guys are down there playing, and they're getting a lot of experience, and they're also showing the Bulls that, hey, listen, man, all I need is a shot. Give me an opportunity, and you can see what happens.
And Ilnyckj Jones is nice. He's leading the G League in scoring, averaging about 26 points a game. And on Sunday, he just took a step back from his offense and played the facilitator. He's getting the ball to Dalen Terry, to Terry Taylor, Ethan Thompson, who's a nice shooter, and Windy City had one of their best wins of the year. If you're not following what's going on in the G League right now, they've got 2 games left in the regular season with a chance to make the playoffs. If they win tonight, we're taping in this show on Tuesday. If they win tonight and Thursday, they'll probably host a first-round playoff game. It's like you said, it's one and done in the G League.
It's one and done. But the good thing about Ilnyckj Jones is that NBA teams are seeing him, they saw him score. They saw him as a scoring guard. Now you're seeing him in a different role because he's got scorers around him. See, sometimes kids are forced to score because they don't have any of the guys that can put the ball in the basket. But now he's got some guys, NBA-level guys, that can come down there and score, and now he can become a point guard. He can be a facilitator. He can show teams that, look, I can run. I'm more than a scoring guard. I can be a point guard in this league and get guys involved. So it's really good seeing him because I do like him, and I think this kid is going to be someone like Spencer Dinwiddie was. A lot of the Bulls may not have any room for him right now, but someone will. Someone will see that kid can come in and play. You look at a kid like Javon Carter. Javon Carter, no one thought he was going to be in the NBA because all he does is defense. Well, what do teams need the most now? They need somebody who can go out there and guard people. So now he's in the league. He's a main contributor on a championship level team in Milwaukee, and this could be the same thing with Ilnyckj Jones. He could get on a team that they say, hey, look, this will be a guy that can run our second unit that knows how to play point guard and get everybody involved, but also can score for us.
If you get a chance, the last 2 regular season games of the Windy City Bulls will be televised on NBC Sports Chicago Tuesday tonight at 7 o'clock. Will Purdue's going to join me for the broadcast, and then Thursday
need to get out there, Bulls
they
Nation.
wrap up their regular season.
Get out there and go see a live game. Go out there and see it. It's a lot of fun. Bring the kids. It's affordable. And Mark will buy everybody who shows up. The first 1,000 people that show up, he'll buy you popcorn. Okay? I'm lying. He ain't buying y'all no popcorn. You better bring your own money. But no, seriously, go out there and see some of this young talent. It's a lot of fun, especially people who may not be able to go see a Bulls game due to work or the how much a ticket costs, you got an opportunity to go see the Windy City Bulls. Go check them out. It's a lot of fun. Those minor league games are really, really fun to watch. They're very competitive. You see some former NBA players. It's just good, and you get to see your future. You get to see guys like Dalen Terry and Carly Jones and Marko Simonovic. I mean, he's down there. I'm still waiting. He's like, where's Waldo? I'm still waiting to see if he can play or not.
He had 5 fouls in the first half on Sunday.
Well, you know what? He got his money's worth, Mike. Okay? Mark, you got to let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
He was
Mark,
Edward Scissorhands out.
Listen, Marco, I'm not mad at you. Okay, you got those 5 fouls.
That's right. Use them.
You was probably mad at the coach for putting you in that situation and asking you to play defense. I feel you, brother.
Yeah, him and Denzel went nose to nose in the first half. They were
ready to fight?
Oh yeah, not fighting, but they were barking at each other pretty good.
Listen, you know what? Let me say this, America. Listen, I've been shooting some straight bullets lately on the broadcast. I just want to take this moment to apologize to absolutely nobody. I'm Stacey King. I can do what I want to do. Okay, so I see that straight shot. Because I got the Denzel Valentine range thing now. Okay, that's the new thing now. So anybody who shoots a shot outside the range, right, that we call that the Denzel Valentine range. That's what we come up with. So last night somebody shot one. I think it was the little point guard the kid from Kentucky.
Maxie.
Yeah. Maxie shot one from the hash mark. And then I said, "Oh, that's from Denzel Valentine range." And so Adam can't hold the laugh here. He just starts, Adam's got that giggle. He just starts giggling. So I just want to say that out there, I just, I want to take this moment to apologize if I offended anybody or anything like that.
No,
I just want to apologize to absolutely nobody. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
So when I see Denzel tonight, I'll tell him you send your regards. All right.
Tell him I said hello. Denzel, listen,
say what's up. Yeah.
Everybody thinks I got this thing on Denzel. Okay, if y'all remember that shot he took, we were only down. I think we were down 5 points. We were making a run, and he shot a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson behind the hash mark.
Right,
not at the hash marker in front of it. Yeah, it was like logo Valentine, but no, it didn't go in. And so. And we I think everybody caught our reaction because it was the bubble game. We weren't at the game. Yeah. We were actually in the studio calling the game from Chicago. And then Adam said something. No, this is not the right time. And I was like, oh no, or something I said to the fact before he shot it, and he missed it.
Yeah,
and then we ended up losing to Atlanta. So that's been like some like a little funny spot. But I love Denzel. Denzel, that's my guy. I'm messing with Denzel, but I like Denzel. I think Denzel, if he can get with the right team, he has to get with the right team for his play skill. The Bulls weren't the right team for him. I think he could have been, but I think the way like Jim Boylan tried to use him, it didn't work.
And when he broke in as a rookie, he was on that team with the 3 alphas with Gimme and Dwayne Wade and Rondo, so he was not going to get any minutes there. So rematch with the Windy City Bulls and the Maine Celtics tonight should be interesting. Check it out if you can on NBC Sports Chicago. Hey, I want to tell you about our friends at Biggers Mazda. Their sizzling new Elgin location at Randall Road is the biggest Mazda store in the state of Illinois. Biggers is offering a bottle of Stacey's signature hot sauce with first test drives of new or pre-owned vehicles. Where else can you get a benefit like that? It's your choice. Everything from the coolest SUVs to the stunning Miata. So join the fun at 2100 Randall Road in Elgin at Biggers Mazda. Now that spring is here, everybody's thinking about getting a new car. Why not head over to Biggers and pick one out, right? Whispers?
Put the top down on that Miata.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Tell them Whispers sent you.
That's right.
It'll get you a funny look, if nothing else.
He's escorted out the door. Come on, you need to follow me, sir. Security.
No warranty.
Yeah, well, you're good friends with Jim.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yep.
Wow, can we get a little bit more energy in this conversation? Hey, you're friends with this guy.
We'll meet you over there.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So head on over there for a test drive and you get a sample, a bottle of Stacey's delicious hot sauce. We're going to be talking more about the latest things going on with that later in the show. But coming up next, college basketball is on the docket. One of the greatest play-by-play guys in the business, Tim Brando from Fox Sports, is going to join us. So keep it right here. It is March Madness, really the best time of the year to watch all the great basketball games going on, baseball getting ready to start its season. And one of the great voices of the sport of college basketball, Tim Brando, is joining us now. Tim, thank you so much for joining us from your home in Shreveport, Louisiana. People associate you with so many great calls over the years. I'm not going to try to ask you to pick out one memory or anything, but what's the whole March Madness atmosphere like when you're behind the mic with so many great games going on?
Well, it's funny, and thanks for having me, guys. It really means a lot. Mike, Tim, Stacey, of course, who I called his games
Yep.
when he was with Billy Tubbs and the boys, and they were number one in the country. I will never forget getting to do Tubbs's games. He was such a character, and we can go down that memory lane at another point. But I've not done the NCAAs in 10 years. My last year to do it was 2013. I just finished my 9th year with Fox.
Wow.
And yet, even when I'm getting booked on radio shows or webcasts similar to what we're doing here, the producer might hop on with me and say, "Hey, Tim, where are you this week?" And I'm like, "I'm not anywhere. I'm at home at Chateau Brando." Because there are so many games on, I think people forget. And I guess maybe to some extent, the announcers Stacey, people say all you guys look alike. I guess all announcers sound alike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get this all the time, and I'm like, I really haven't done the tournament in a while. I'm just watching it, and I love it, and I don't miss doing it because now I get to see the whole tournament. When I was working it, doing 4 games with 8 teams in one day, and Stacey knows this from going to them. The announcers will be sitting there on the practice day, the walkthrough the day before the game's on either Thursday or Friday. And here come these SIDs with their coaches, and we would know about Oklahoma, right? We would, because they're on TV a lot. We probably had done some of their games. But there's 6 teams from conferences that are never on TV and are never seen. And you got to get all that homework. That's one of my boards there. You got to get all that homework done. And it's a daunting task. It is the most difficult broadcasting task that any play-by-play announcer can go through, both from a mental standpoint to put your boards together, to do the homework, and from a physical standpoint to hold on to your voice. Let's say you get a couple of overtime games, and your last game is starting at 10:30 Eastern time. You're going to get off the air at about 1 a.m. You better pace yourself, to hold on to your vocal cords to get through 4 games, and then turn around the next day and meet with 4 teams, 4 SIDs, 4 coaches to get ready for the second round, because you got 2 games, which feels like a layup after you've done 4. But I would tell you the joy of seeing these stories of these kids emerge and evolve. And Stacey's a great example of that. I got to watch him grow as a player from the time he got to Oklahoma until he made it into the NBA. And ironically, in the 90s, between my stops at ESPN and CBS, I went to Turner and I did the NBA playoffs, and I did the Atlanta Hawks for 3 years. And I got to see him again as a pro and with those great teams in Chicago. So it's just an honor and a privilege. And the older I get, I just turned 67. The older I get, the more privileged I feel and thankful and grateful I feel for what I got to do. And I don't miss doing the tournament. As a matter of fact, I think I enjoy watching it more than I enjoyed calling it. And that's saying a lot because I love what I do. People ask me all the time, how do you keep your energy? And I'm like, how can you not keep your energy?
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting in the best seat in the house, watching some of the greatest storylines and most exciting moments in college athletics. It's a recession-proof event. It's the best 3 weeks of amateur sports you'll find. And I know they get money now. There's NIL in the transfer portal, but it still brings the best out of college athletics. There are more good stories than bad. And when you meet these players, and I get the honor of doing that, or I got it when I did the broadcasts for those 18 years, getting to meet those kids and have them tell us their stories and then get to tell it on the air if the opportunity presents itself is one of the great joys of my broadcasting career.
Yeah, just listening to you talk about, being, doing some pro games and then doing college basketball games for so many years. I know I started doing college games for ESPN, doing the Big 12. And the one thing I took away from the college game is, man, there's so much preparation for the college game more so than the pro game. You've got to know storylines. You've got to know where a kid came from, who his high school coach was, what AAU team he played on. I mean, there's so much you have to learn, where in the pro game, pretty much you know all that stuff beforehand. I mean, and all the offenses that teams run because they all run the same pick and roll offense. But in college, it could be, you could be running the Jim Boeheim, that 2-3 zone. You could be running single doubles. I mean, there's so much preparation you have to do at the college game. Did you find that being the same way? It's easier to do pro games more so than the college?
Yeah. And Stacey, that's true in football too. I'm not known for doing NFL football, but trust me, Spencer Tillman and I did quite a bit of it while we were doing the studio at CBS for the SEC all those years. Your old Sooner running mate. We would go in on Thursday to Baltimore to see a Ravens game, get together with the coaches, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, maybe a player or two, when Dilfer and Siragusa and those guys were playing. Then we'd leave all of our material, our homework, our big football boards, fly to New York on Friday, get ready to do the studio on Saturday afternoon. And then as soon as we got off the air after dinner Saturday night, we're over to Teterboro, hopping in a 7-seat jet back to Baltimore to do the game on Sunday at noon. And that's a lot. It's not like doing 8 teams and 4 games in one day, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And we loved it. But here's the reason why it was easier. The NFL's got 45 guys. Now, you know how many walk-ons they have at Nebraska and Oklahoma. Yeah. Some of them wearing the same numbers.
Right.
They got 90, 95 guys out there, and you've got to have a board big enough with all those players so you're not surprised. And if there's a blocked kick, the safety on defense may wear the same number as the wide receiver on offense. And you got to okay, which one is that? That's a chore, to pull that off. So the pro game is always easier because you already know those guys. You've seen them for a long time, and there are fewer of them. And of the 12 guys that dress, 9 probably play, in college. Some teams have a 7-man rotation. And then you go see a team like Mike Anderson's always had, or Nolan Richardson had at Arkansas. You'll identify with that. Hell, those guys play 3 hard minutes of the 40 minutes of hell. Boom, here comes 5 new guys in. It's like a bus stop. The horn is sounding, every 3 minutes. With John Thompson did the same thing. When he was coaching at Georgetown, here comes Michael Graham in at power forward, and Reggie Williams is checking out, and 4 other guys are coming in with him. It's always been that way. The college game in both basketball and football is much more difficult to prepare for than either the NFL or the NBA.
Tim, you got any stories about the show going off the rails, or any broadcasting experiences where just nothing would go right for you? Anything you share with us?
Well, I don't know that it was one of those moments that anything can go wrong. I've never gotten off the rails with the tournament, except you guys may remember a couple of moments that crossed through my career, broadcasting tournament games. One in particular happened in Chicago, and I want to say it was maybe 2004 or 5. Eddie Fogler was my analyst that year, the former the former Vanderbilt and South Carolina coach, and he had worked for Dean Smith for a number of years, one of his top assistants, and he had a telestrator, and I was worried and concerned about working with Eddie because I had not worked with him before until 3 weeks before we got to the NCAAs. Great guy. He had a reputation as being a bit difficult to deal with when he was coaching. He was that old school Dean Smith kind of guy. But when he got into broadcasting, the job for me was to loosen him up. And I did, I think, a nice job of that. He was getting great reviews. And he was recruiting I'm trying to remember that they were twins and they played at Southern Illinois. And you'll remember right away when I tell you Jarvis Hayes.
Yep.
And what was his brother's name? It was Jarvis, and there was a second Hayes. One is in coaching now. Anyway, Eddie didn't get the kids to South Carolina. Georgia got them. And Jim Herrick was coaching at Georgia at that time. And Eddie was giving himself a hard time about not being able. He said, "I wouldn't be with you, Tim, if I'd gotten these kids." The Hayes brothers. I wouldn't be with you. So during a commercial break, and this is at the United Center. During a commercial break, we're taking a picture. We're trying to identify the Hayes twins' father. And so he takes the telestrator and draws a circle around him to tell the director, this is who it is. This is the right guy. And then next to the circle, he puts he was trying to write that he was me, M-E, I'm, meaning me. He writes A-H-O-L-E, and he's talking about himself.
Yes.
Well, you know how sometimes telestrators don't always come clear? Maybe
Stacey knows that story very well.
I know that.
You know that story? So it looked like if you were just looking at it in a break, this didn't go on the air. This was never on television. But I saw what I saw on that telestrator, and it looked like a-hole. It looked like a-hole MF. Okay, not me, but MF. Not M-E, but MF. And we were in an arena at that time that, as you know, has monitors for all the media to see what's being written.
Yeah.
Fellas, it was ugly. It was so bad. I felt terrible. I went over and cleared the telestrator as fast as I could, but it didn't stop the media from finding out. And we were up all night that night. And
Wow.
Eventually I had to do I was interviewed. There was a lawsuit, and Eddie's, short-lived career in television ended. I felt horrible about it. I did. That's one of those moments where you've got a novice. He's just having fun at his own expense, and it's completely misunderstood because people that were at the arena and sitting where the press sits saw it, and they saw what I saw. And it was not, it wasn't me. I'm the a-hole. It was maybe Mr. Hayes. And it was terrible. It was one of the most embarrassing things to ever happen. And I felt bad for Eddie, and I felt bad for our crew because we'd had a great day. By the way, Georgia lost that game. Southern Illinois beat them, and Hayes was playing at Georgia at the time. And it was just really, I think if Georgia had won the game, maybe it had been smoothed over, but because they lost the game, and the former South Carolina coach, a rival coach, in their minds did something that was heinous, it kind of ruined our day. It was a long, long night after that. And that was the last game we did in the second round of the tournament that year. That one was hard for us. And also we did an SEC tournament back in 2008. ESPN did a 30 for 30 documentary on it. The tornado, an F2, came through downtown Atlanta, Georgia, in the middle of an overtime game. Well, in the middle of the end of a game, right after we had gone to overtime between Mississippi State and Alabama. And we had to do, we had to switch our positions from sportscasting to newscasting. CNN and Fox News were all covering and using our broadcast to cover this horrific event that was happening right at Olympic Park, right there at CNN, Peachtree Street, right there where the old Georgia Dome was. And that was an experience I will never, ever forget as a broadcaster. We got through it, but it was a long day and night. And then they moved the tournament to the Alexander Memorial Coliseum where Georgia Tech played, and limited the number of fans that could go to the game and any more of the tournament after those quarterfinal games were over. And Georgia, who won 4 games during the regular season, came out of nowhere to steal a bid and win the SEC that year. Those are a couple of memories that come to mind.
When you talk about you see these young kids coming up in the ranks, you're elder statesmen. We're all getting up there in age, and a lot of these kids idolize you growing up, and a lot of the guys that do what you do. What advice would you give to a young and upcoming broadcaster that wants to get in this business and do what you do?
Stacey, that's it's a great question, and I think that over the years, my responses have been forced to change because our industry has changed.
Yeah.
The way you come up in the business isn't the same way as my generation came up in the business. Most of us, guys in my age group, the Sean McDonough's, who's I think just turned 60. He's about 5 or 6 years younger than me. Brad Nessler is my age. I think he's a couple of months younger. Although I color my hair and he doesn't color his. makeup, and just for men. Okay, that's how I do it.
You look good, TB.
My wife had a great line. She said, "If we paid for those surgeries for you to keep that hair, you're going to color that hair." But that's part of it. You want to stay young. It is a young man's game. I do feel, Stacey, when you get to this point in your career, you've worked at 4 different networks over 5 decades, and I think I do see where my finish line might be. And I feel like I'm a really lucky guy to have worked 9 years at ESPN, 3 at Turner, 18 at CBS, and now finishing my 9th, going into my 10th year at Fox. I feel like I could see the finish line now. I just want to get there the best way I know how. And I think the best way to stay ahead of the curve and to stay young is to help others, pour into that next generation. Because I had mentors and leaders, people that gave me some wisdom at a very early age. Kurt Gowdy was my hero, and he did the Final Fours before Dick Enberg did. I met Mr. Gowdy at the 82 Final Four when he was working with Kaywood Ledford on Westwood One doing the Final Four on radio. And he gave me some pearls of wisdom that I took with me for the rest of my career. And it really helped me a lot. And he was like, "Tim, you need to stay here in New Orleans. Don't take some big job in a bigger market because you want to do play-by-play. Right now, you're getting to do LSU. You're doing Tiger Vision games for LSU. Syndicators that are doing conference games can hire you, and you can freelance for them on weekends. If you go to a local television station in larger markets like Louisville, who had offered me a job at that point, those news directors are not going to let their sports guys 6 and 10 leave. You need to stay right where you are." And so I did. And ultimately, a station in Baton Rouge hired me away from radio in New Orleans. And they were fine with me doing LSU games, so that was good. And I began to freelance with Raycom, Jefferson Pilot, and just get wherever a job opportunity presented itself, I took it, said yes to everything. And then ESPN called in December of '84, had a game between Duke and Virginia they needed a replacement for Jim Simpson for. And I was able to say yes to that. And that was a game changer for me. That vaulted my career. And by late '86, I was moving to Connecticut to do the original College Game Day, to do all the football and basketball that came my way. And so just being patient, staying put, not taking the next big thing. Don't make every decision based on cash alone. You know, getting the money now doesn't secure your future later. You got to be thinking about the big picture and what it is you really want to do with your career. And sometimes taking the lesser cash for the greater opportunity is the best way to go. I was helped a little bit by fear because I had a young family at the time, and I needed to be in a hurry. And by the time I was 29, I had gotten my break at ESPN. By the time I was 30, I was living in Connecticut, and my national television career was ongoing. I have these conversations, Stacey, all the time with young guys, and I'm glad they feel like they can approach me. Your partner on Bulls games did exactly that. You know, after I met Adam Amin, I knew right away he was a strong talent. I'll tell you how I met him. I was doing the Division II National Championship with Dan Bonner, which would be this weekend, the weekend of the Sweet 16.
Okay.
You'll always see the title game early on Sunday on CBS before the regionals. The regional finals are on Sunday afternoon. And he was doing the Elite Eight games, the opening round, the quarterfinals, and then the semifinals. I was going to do the national championship with Dan on that, I think, Saturday or Sunday afternoon. But when I got to Springfield, Massachusetts, here's this little guy, very young. He was right out of Valparaiso.
Yep.
And Dan comes over to me and says, "Tim, put these on the spare headsets." He says, "Put these headsets on. Listen to this kid. He's really good. Got a powerful voice." So I did. I put the cans on. And we met shortly after that, and he had, all kinds of questions. He was like me when I was meeting with Kurt Gowdy, back in 1982. Yep. I was asking the same questions of him that he was asking of me. And he called me again about 2 or 3 years after he got his career started at ESPN. And he had some questions because he felt like he was getting to a point where he wasn't progressing the way he wanted to. Had a good job, was grateful for the job. And the assignments were good, but they weren't the substantial assignments that he felt he was ready for. And he ran some ideas by me. And I said, you're on the right track with this. And then I said, you might want to consider the possibility of getting with a team in a town you love that you can identify with. And that could be where you ground yourself and say, this is home. This is where I start from. And then you make yourself available for national work. And you're more appealing to that network if you are already in the business, hired by a professional sports team or regional network. And that's exactly what happened. He got to Chicago, and within 18 to 24 months, he's being hired by Fox, and he's doing NFL games and Major League Baseball, as well as a lot of college basketball, whenever they can fit it in with you guys' schedule with the Bulls. So Adam is a great example of one of those young guys that at some point crossed paths with me and sort of cared what I thought and would listen to what I thought.
We had Dave Revson of the Big Ten Network on a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling a good story about when he was brought to Bristol to be part of the startup of ESPN News. He was called into an all-staff meeting, and he's looking around, and he sees Berman and Dan Patrick and all these guys. You were in there at a younger time in the history of the network. You mentioned '86, right. But you got Berman and Tom Mees and some of the originals over there. What was that like for you to be doing shows and walking around the halls of the campus and seeing guys that you probably looked up to when the network first launched?
Well, I'll bring up a couple of names that that just matter tremendously to me here, and I might get a little emotional when I'm talking about John Saunders. But John Saunders was my closest friend in the business until I met Spencer Tillman, who sort of replaced John in my life as not just a colleague, not just a colleague, but a confidant, somebody that I could share really anything with. John was coming from WMAR in Baltimore, and I was coming from WAFB in Baton Rouge. We showed up 1 week apart. He got there, I think, a week before I did. And we were two new guys that were coming in when a couple of veterans had left. Greg Gumbel was one of those guys. Speaking of Chicago, Greg was going to MSG to work in the city, which at that time was actually paying more money than ESPN was. ESPN had just been sold to Cap Cities from Getty Oil. And I still say that even though they started in '79, the success of ESPN that's overlooked happened in the 80s with college basketball people forget we had the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Network television wasn't carrying the first 2 rounds of the tournament. They just carried the games on Saturdays and Sundays, and then the Final Four. But weeknight games, those Thursday, Friday games, even the regional semifinals, they were, unless it was a West Coast game after primetime, they weren't going to carry games on network TV at that time. It changed around 1990 or 91. But when I walked into the studio, and you can appreciate this, I'm sure now, Stacey, because you're in the business, imagine stalwarts that were there at the very beginning, like Mees, Lee, and Boomer and Berman. They, like any sportscaster, they wanted to do more than just SportsCenter. Berman wanted to call games in the booth. Tom Mees was a big hockey guy. He was dying to call hockey. He grew up in Delaware. Bob Lee was getting to host some basketball with Dickie V at that time and Bill Raftery in the early 80s. But he wasn't nobody was getting to leave Bristol to do anything. And in my contract, I had a guaranteed number of events, both in football and basketball, that I would get to do, along with my SportsCenter duties. And they had never done a contract like that. So I immediately felt boy, I hope these guys like me. They're probably pissed. I got a deal. So I felt, and so did John. John felt the same way. Getting their affirmation, those guys that were the originals, meant a great deal to us. So we were doing our best to be good teammates. We weren't going to try to compete with anybody. We just wanted to be good teammates. Felt like a role player going into a new organization in the NBA. You know what I mean, Stacey?
Yeah.
That kind of feeling is you may be the 10th, 11th, or 12th guy on the roster, but you got a contract and it's better than a 10-day deal. You're going to hang. So you want to make the most of it. And they were so welcoming to us, to John and myself. And it was just a great time. I think that the most exciting times of my career, even though I had much more visibility at CBS in the 18 years that I had there, the most exciting time was clearly those days in Bristol when we were just starting College Game Day. I was getting to do games, big time NCAA games during the regular season, Big East games with Raft, ACC games, the ACC tournament with Nicky V. I worked all the way through the semifinals with him, and then Al McGuire and Dick Enberg would come in to do the championship on NBC. I had 2 double overtime games with Valvano on his last run in '87 to the tournament. He went to overtime to beat Muggsy Bogues and Wake, and then he beat North Carolina after that to go to the NCAA tournament. It was almost like what happened in '83. They were a bubble team, and they got through. He had Charles Shackelford on that team, the original Shaq. Remember that?
Yeah.
Shaq was the guy that was asked in the post-game presser about, he was asked, boy, Shaq, you had that left-hand jump hook going just like the right hand. He says, well, Coach V calls me amphibious.
Amphibious. Yeah. I remember that.
I'll never forget looking over at Valvano after he said that, and Jim did this. Literally, he did this.
That followed him throughout his career.
It followed
he
him.
He was teammates with me in Minnesota, and I always tease him. Are you still amphibious?
But to be with those guys and to do things like the Boston Marathon. We did the Boston Marathon. I was at the starting line broadcast. I never thought I'd be broadcasting the Boston Marathon. And we did crazy stuff like PKA karate. I did top rank, low rank boxing with Al Bernstein. I did so many different sports. I did 25 different sports in the 9 years I was at ESPN. Fellas, I didn't even know 25 sports existed until I got there, And so that versatility for me and the opportunity to do all those different things was just fantastic. And the teamwork and I think the book that James Andrew Miller wrote, These Guys Have All the Fun, about ESPN at that time. They don't spend as much time on the 80s, in my opinion, as they should. And he's a whale of an author. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. But to his credit, he's done deep dives on the origination of College Game Day on his podcast that I was a part of. He got it right. I mean, he really did. The best time to work there was in those startup days between really 1979 and 1990. And if you were part of that, and John Saunders and I were sort of the second wave of Sports Center guys that came in, and Steve Bornstein, who was in charge at that time, who had the vision for the network and the vision for College Game Day and NFL Game Day, had his guys that he thought were just the right people to start these different shows, these studio shows to help promote the game. College coaches in both football and basketball just felt like ESPN was a saving grace to promote the sport. And so when we knew that they thought we were the goods, then we knew we were doing something special, and changing the paradigm of sports viewing. Network executives who had looked down their noses at this little cable that could in Bristol, Connecticut, were suddenly doing some of the things that we were doing. They were copying us.
Yes.
And we could see that. And, the further away I get from that period, the more I feel so fortunate to have been there at that particular time, because nothing that came my way after that was something that I would not be prepared for. I'd been sort of, they threw us on a wall and they were going to see who stuck and who didn't,
Right.
And those of us that were able to hang went on to have, really good careers. And some of us did leave to go have better careers. But many of them stayed. And of course, I never thought that they would become the 1,200-pound gorilla of our industry. I'd say Fox is clearly a competitor, a strong competitor. But I don't know that, ABC Sports is gone. NBC Sports doesn't do as much beyond the Olympics and golf. And CBS Sports is, and I loved being there. Trust me, it made my career. It was sort of the cherry on top in a lot of ways, but they don't own the rights to nearly as many events as does Fox. So ESPN is still by far and away the number one volume dealer of sports in our country. And there's no denying that. And the work that those people did back in those days is the reason why the foundation was put in play. And I'm forever grateful for those 9 years, and that I was able to get what Kurt Gowdy thought I should get if I stayed hungry and humble in radio for a few extra years in Louisiana.
Talk a little bit about let's talk college football now, because my Sooners are getting ready to go into the SEC, which I believe is a huge mistake. I believe that they stayed in the Big 12. Their chances of getting to the national championship game is so much better. And now you're going to SEC against Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida. Your chances, go down a little bit. You got UCLA, USC coming to the Big Ten. Everybody is just like relocating and shifting. Talk a little bit about what you think about where it's going. Do you see us going in more of a 16-team type of playoff, like Division 1A, or do you see that, or do you see them staying at the way they are right now?
I think we could very easily go to 16 in the second year of the playoff. We'll do 12, in 2025. The contract actually runs through 26, but they're starting this 12-team playoff, not this year, but next. Okay.
Yeah.
So in 24, we'll go to 12. The 25 season, which would be the year that you start the new contract. Okay. When you start the new contract, I think at that point we'll have more than one network involved. If it happens to be Fox, all the better. But it could be, any other network, whoever wants to get involved. But I do think we'll have two networks minimum involved in the new contract. So my thoughts are, after they try it with 12, Stacey, they're going to look at the numbers financially and say, why do we have the best four teams sitting and getting a bye the first week when they could be playing a home game against the 13 seed or the 14th seed or the 15th seed or the 16th? Why are we having them have an open date? How much more money do we make? We're not extending it by the calendar any. We're just saying, let's play more games. Let's have more volume here. Okay. I think they'll do that after 1 year. When they see how successful 12 is, they're going to see even more money. And you know how the presidents are. When it comes to athletics, they scrutinize everything until you say, yeah, but here's how much more money you're going to make if you let four more teams play.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do that. I think they will go to 16 by the time the new contract is done. The first year, ESPN still has the rights. They're doing it a year early. The presidents really and the conference commissioners decided to do that. What conference you're in my opinion, is not as important once we go to 12 or beyond, because they're putting in the contract that we're going to get teams that are outside the so-called Power Five. Okay, the best teams that are from the leagues that you think of as group of. And I think we need to get rid of these titles. I'm like Mike Oresco, the commissioner of the American Conference. We need to stop categorizing P5, group of five. It's demeaning. And in some cases, there are teams like, for instance, Cincinnati, a couple of years ago, they were better than a lot of teams in the Big 12 and the ACC. They were. So why are we putting a label on them that they should feel fortunate that they're in this thing? That's garbage. We should just call it Division I college football. And then we'll see, multiple teams probably out of the SEC and Big Ten, maybe multiple teams out of the Big 12. But you're going to get teams out of the American Conference, or if the best team that's not in the so-called Power Five happens to be in the Sun Belt, go get you some. You know, a team like Coastal Carolina that's really good and deserves to be there, you know, go ahead. Have your day in the sun. And we will see some moments when we go to 12 or 16 that will rival, won't be exactly like, but it will rival what we see in college basketball. And that will energize the enthusiasm of the fan bases all around the globe, all around the country. And that's what we need for college football, is to have a 2 or 3 week period where college football is on the front page. You know, they've allowed the NFL to add playoff game after playoff round and steal late December and January 1st from college football. We need to reclaim, January 1st. Make that day the big day. You know, the Rose Bowl has already said, okay, we don't have to have that usual time we always get on New Year's Day. So you're beginning to see the seeds of success, future success for college football's postseason. As for the move to the SEC, Stacey, that's a money grab. That's all that is. Oklahoma and Texas saw an opportunity to make more money than they would make in the Big 12, and that's why they did what they did. I'm with you competitively. They would be in a much better position if they had stayed in the Big 12. I don't think either one of them right now are ready for the SEC, no matter how they configure the schedules, which I know is on an ongoing process. But, that started this thing. And now you see UCLA and USC coming to the Big Ten. Lots of movement is out there. A lot will hinge on what the Pac-12 is actually able to accomplish with its TV deal. I don't know how they're going to get to the same level as the Big 12 without a linear network, without either Fox or ESPN being part of that deal. If all they're going to do is streaming with either Apple TV or Amazon, they may get money, but they're not going to have eyeballs. You got to have people watching these games. And if you saw the numbers on Thursday Night NFL, it made the NFL a lot of money, but they got about half the audience, maybe not even half of the audience that Fox and CBS had when they had those Thursday games. So, the streaming world is growing. It's going to be a part, obviously, of broadcasting in the future. But it doesn't have right now the same number of eyeballs that over-the-air network television does.
Well, we're certainly enjoying March Madness going on now with the NCAA basketball tournament, and exciting times ahead in college football. And glad to hear that Tim Brando is still going to be behind the mic calling some games for Fox Sports and planning on working for a number of years. Tim, thank you so much for being generous with your time this afternoon. We really enjoyed the conversation and reflecting on your wonderful career in broadcasting that is still going strong.
Well, thanks, fellas. Hey, Stacey, as long as the phone rings, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Well, just please tell me the phone is still ringing.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it is so great to see you. Fellas, just to tell a little story on Stacey before I leave.
Okay.
He was one of those guys, when he played in college, would always come over to the announcers and say, "Hey, fellas, how you doing? Good to see you."
Yeah.
He knew where the bread was buttered.
That's right.
If he was going to get some love from the play-by-play guy.
Yes, sir. I was playing it back then. I'm still doing it now.
There you go.
Hey, we're going to say, Tim, make sure you tell my boy Spencer I said what's up, and then we're going to send you some hot sauce. You like hot sauce?
Oh, I love hot sauce.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, we're going to send you
Absolutely.
some 4 bottles of our signature hot sauce, and our producer, Maddie, she'll get your address, and we'll send it out there to you.
Great having you. A little blood thinner is always good. Hot sauce is a good thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good
Tim
talking to you,
Brando,
buddy.
our guest on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Welcome back, episode 123 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Our thanks to Tim Brando for joining us and sharing some great stories. And now we want to check on how people are doing in our Run Your Pool contest. I think most brackets have blown up, Stacey. I know mine has. I had Kansas. I had who else did I have that lost?
Virginia.
I had 2 number ones lost.
Virginia, people had Virginia. They had. Oh man, this is terrible. Oh Lord.
Oh, Duke. Duke lost.
Duke. Oh man.
Yeah, kind of a minefield. So some people are starting all over again with the Sweet 16. So we thought we'd try to look at who's left and who do you like, the teams that are left.
Well.
Houston may be tough now. I mean, it looks like Sasser can play.
As long as my boy Sasser is healthy, they got a shot. Yeah. Their guard play is phenomenal. They press the ball. They're tough.
I like the style Calvin Sampson plays too.
Yeah. They I mean, you know what? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because Xavier is no joke. They gotta play Xavier. Xavier is scrappy. Isn't that Sean Miller, the coach?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cheater. Sean Miller's a cheater, man. How do you get a coach job, cheater? Okay, there. Look at that right there. Stacey, Sweet 16. Oh, you got a name up on the board. Okay, so we got Alabama and San Diego State. Okay, East, FAU, Tennessee. I got Tennessee winning that one. Houston winning Miami.
Yeah, the East is really watered down.
Yeah. Well, no, the South is watered down. Look what Alabama's got to play.
Yeah,
the toughest team though. San Diego State is not going to be easy, and Creighton's not going to be easy. But they should come out of the South. Yeah. But you look at the East. You got Tennessee, Michigan State.
But who's the favorite in that group? Kansas State.
I would probably say Michigan State. I think Michigan State's going to beat Kansas State because they're just much more physical. You got Houston, Miami. That's going to be a good game. Texas and Xavier. That Midwest is a tough bracket. Mm-hmm. And then Arkansas, the Arkansas region with UConn is tough. UCLA and Gonzaga. That might be the hardest bracket right there.
Yeah, I think so.
UConn is no joke. I mean, and Arkansas is the 8 seed, but they really should be higher than the 8 seed. They're a much better team than the 8 seed. That's going to be interesting in that game. I got Arkansas winning that one, and I got UCLA coming, beating Gonzaga, which is going to be a good game. And then we go to there we go right there. See, baby, Alabama and Creighton. I got Alabama. I got Michigan State beating Tennessee in the East. I got Houston beating Xavier in the Midwest. And I got UCLA. And as much as I hate going against Arkansas, because my mom was from Arkansas, I had to, because UCLA is an experienced team. They got that the big kid, I don't know, Hernandez or whatever his name is. Jaquez. Yeah. He's nice. Yeah. He's nice. And the little guards they got are experienced guards. They went deep last year. Yeah,
Tiger Campbell.
Little Tiger with the afro. Yeah, I like him. And then you see the Southeast. That's my Final Four right there. Alabama, Michigan State, UCLA, Houston. I was really torn with Houston and UCLA because I like UCLA. But Sasser, I know Sasser's uncle. He's a good friend of mine, so I'm pulling for Houston to win that game, but that's just off of friendship. But I don't think they're going to win. Alabama and Houston. Alabama. I think Alabama is just too much. You know, that kid. What's his name? Miller.
Brandon Miller. Yeah, he was slowed by a groin injury. He didn't score in the first game.
He's going to be a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Some say he might go behind the big kid from France. So
yeah, he might have passed up Scoot.
Yeah, he might have. Yeah, but I still like Scoot too. Don't sleep on Scoot. Scoot.
Another big tournament that's going on is the World Baseball Classic. We're taping on Tuesday. The championship game later today, the United States against Japan down in Miami. That's going to be something. Japan had to rally. They got a double in the bottom of the ninth to eliminate Mexico last night.
I'll tell you what, is Ohtani pitching? And
he might pitch in relief, but he's not starting. But he'll be hitting. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Ooh, man. All right.
Heck of a game.
That's going to be a heck of a game. I think the USA. Where's that played? Miami.
Miami. Yeah.
Okay, it's a home game. It's a home game for the USA. We're gonna have our crowd there. I tell you what, man, that's going to be a good game. It's not going to be easy for the USA. I wonder who's going to be pitching for the USA. Who they got to start pitching?
Merrill Kelley. I think he's with the Diamondbacks. So they don't have.
Tim?
Is he related to you, Tim?
Oh God, we lost it. Get him out of there. We already lost. We're never going to win. We got a Kelley pitching.
Well, they didn't really have a lot of big name pitchers on the U.S. squad. No. Lance Lynn of the White Sox did a nice job in his start.
But they got a hitter. They got hitters though.
Yeah, the lineup is stacked.
The lineup is there's no easy out. I mean, you got guys that are batting at the end of the order that really are like top 2-3 batters. You know, so.
But Japan's won the WBC twice. The United States, of course, is the defending champion. It's going to be a heck of a game. The crowd's going to be going wild because the atmosphere at those games is unbelievable.
It is. It's almost like a college game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, they're more exciting than the All-Star games. That's what the NBA should do. The NBA should have like a world game, like the United States versus you can go Spain, you can go just make that be a for 2 weeks. Have that kind of tournament. That'd be pretty cool.
And one of the things that people were concerned about, though, were the injuries. Jose Altuve took a pitch off his thumb, broken thumb. He's out 8 to 10 weeks. And then Edwin Diaz, the closer of the New York Mets, in the post-game celebration after a victory, tore his patellar tendon, and he's out for the year.
You know what, Mark? As I said before, you can get hurt going to the bathroom.
Well, I don't know about
walking
that.
down the stairs. Oh, no, Mark. No, Mark. You can get hurt going to the bathroom, seriously. Like, when I wake up in the morning, I want to take an Uber to the bathroom. My body hurts so bad. I got in last night in America at like 1:30 in the morning. And had to turn around and get it. No one wants to hear my problems, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You're going to listen, America. Got in at 1:30 last night after a huge win in Philadelphia. Go Bulls. Got up 1:30, got in at 1:30, got up this morning at 7, running errands, feeding dogs, taking dogs for walks, just doing it all right? And I'm here. I'm here taping the show. I really should be in the bed sleeping, but I'm not. I'm here with the Sriracha crew. I'm here with my boys, and I'm here.
Hey, I hear your Goose Island Burger selling off the shelves.
Oh, baby, if you haven't tried my barbecue burger with my hot sauce infused meat and sauce, you definitely.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, look at me. Oh, that's me right there, America. America, that's the burger right there with the fries. And you got the, the burger is a steak burger. It's not a ground, ground beef. It's a steak burger. And it's got the hot sauce mixed into the burger. So it's infused. Okay, we use the big words here, Mark. Infused. So then now you got the mozzarella cheese, you got the mushrooms, and then you got the fried, I'm getting
hungry.
The little fried onion ring things. See, there it is right there. That's the picture. But the pictures doesn't do it justice. You got to see it in person. That's the first time I went to Goose Island. I went to the one on Clybourne. That's the first time I've been there. Really nice place. And shout out to Chef Henry. That's Chef Henry right there. He's the guy who made the burger. He's the guy that came up with the aioli. See that green sauce right there? Mm-hmm. That has the salsa verde mixed into like a cream-based thing to dip your fries in. Yeah. And shout out to Goose Island. I had a bunch of guests over there, and they set it out for us. They brought us all these hors d'oeuvres and all these, everything they had on their snack sheet. We got to taste everything. By the time I got my burger, I was full. Okay, I didn't really get a chance to eat it all, but I ate it all because I wanted Henry to know that I liked the burger. But it was awesome. It was awesome, and all the people that I brought with me, I had some people from out of town. They were from Phoenix, and they were here last week. Yeah, they were here last week. Little Kyron and his mom, Courtney Evans, they went over with me, and then my driver wasn't Mike because Mike was taking care of some business. So shout out to my man Maurice Mo. He came with us, and he, instead of him waiting in the car, I told him to come on out there and try the burger, and he ate the burger, and he loved it. So it's a great burger. Try it out. I think they sold over 300.
Nice.
Yeah, they ran out of sauce.
They ran out of sauce.
Supposed to be getting more
today. Gotta get him some more. Yeah.
Free bottle of sauce with the burger.
Yeah.
Come on, sauce packer. Pack that sauce.
Tim, tell the folks how they can get a bottle of sauce.
Come on, Tim, say it.
Oh.
Well, you can even do it as Christopher Walken. Everybody loves that.
Maybe I won't.
Oh, you don't have to.
Oh, he's pouting. He's pouting, America.
Pouting.
He's pouting.
I'm kind of upset that they ran out of sauce. I mean, but it is, they're producing literally tens of thousands of bottles right now because it's about to go finally into Jewel.
Yes, we're getting ready to get it in Jewel, baby.
Yeah, as a permanent shelf item now.
Permanent?
Yes.
Oh,
that's how much they enjoyed it in the taste testing. Yes.
Breaking news.
It'll be on the shelf in the specialty sauce.
Permanent specialty sauce in Jewel.
So if you're looking to score the hottest sauce in the game, just head over to Jewel in about 2 weeks or less.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's breaking news, America.
That's right.
See, it was just going to be a novelty. Now it's going to be permanent. You're going to see my little face on there permanently in aisle 7.
Yeah, we start things like podcasts and sauces thinking it's going to be funny, and that's not funny anymore.
It's not funny anymore. Now we're business. We're entrepreneurs, baby. We're entrepreneurs, baby.
But if you can't wait for Jewel, just go to GimmeTheHotSauce.com and use code KING21. Get 21% off your first order.
Give me the hot sauce.
Get over as soon as you can, because if you don't, I will find you, and I will break you.
It's brewed in darkness.
This has been Bane. I am now taking over the show.
Come on, Tim. I was waiting for Tim. Christopher Walken was going to have a fight today.
Oh, we should have done that.
We were going to have a fight
You're
today,
supposed to call me out for the fight.
We told you to come. We said get Christian walking, and I was going to jump in.
You got to call me out. You got to say, this is Bane. I'm going to kill you, you creepy freak.
Oh, my God. He missed the call, man. I'm sorry, America. That was going to be a battle between Bane and Christopher Walken today, but Christopher Walken, he didn't show up.
Well,
Didn't want to see Bane. I've been waiting for Christopher Walken for quite some time.
I'm sick of your act.
I am going to break you in half, you little twerp.
Don't forget, I'm the king of this town. I'm going to put some of that sauce in your eyes and your mask. You can't breathe anymore.
And I'm going to pack you with your own sauce. And I'll pack you really good.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sounded creepy.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy.
We got women and children here. I'm sorry, kids. Oh, Lord.
What movie was Bane in last? Jeez.
He was in Debbie the Dallas.
What? Bane does Dallas.
The show is completely off the rails. I asked Tim Brando about a broadcast going off the rails. This is a podcast going off the rails.
Oh, my goodness.
Before we get out of here, I got a chance to bump into Stacey's driver, his good buddy Mike out front. He's doing well.
Mike.
Yeah, tell the folks how they can get their limousine service.
Oh, man, shout out to my boy Mike. Mike just got a haircut. He had a mullet, and he decided to trim it down. And shout out to Mike. He's getting more action now that he's got his hair cut short. He's going to a Bruce Springsteen concert in Ireland.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm thinking about going with him. It depends on what time he goes. I might be the only black guy there. But, hey, you know what? I want to go. I want to go, man. I'm going to risk it. Risk it for the biscuit, baby. Oh, Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy. It's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact us at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300.
Are you snoring on yourself?
Yeah, I know. Seriously, I really did fall asleep. I'm like narcolepsy over here. I was like, yes, because I'm so tired right now. I'm on fumes. I couldn't find my last
Stacey
5 hour
operating on
energy.
very little sleep, and then he's got to head back out to the West Coast. The Bulls are going to play Portland and the 2 LA teams.
Yes, this is the reason why, America, we're shooting the podcast on a Tuesday, because I'm not going to be here on a Thursday. So we want to make sure we were going to Portland. We got Portland. We got the Lakers. Hopefully LeBron James is back for one of those
maybe
games.
not.
Well, maybe not. Hey, that kid Austin Reeves was my former Sooner.
35 points the other day.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you guys. I went to Princeton, so we're in the Sweet 16. Okay.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
I saw the video.
No. I didn't send you guys a picture, but we didn't get a chance to send it. But I'm on the Princeton magazine. I just want to throw that out there to all my people. But you all guys are haters. You're all haters. Sriracha Crew, I'm just gonna give you this picture real quick. I want to see if you can get it on there in time.
In the meantime, you can mention something about Willis Reed.
Oh yeah. Before we got out, we found during the broadcast, we found out that the NBA Hall of Famer Willis Reed passed away. A fantastic player for the New York Knicks. And, of course, he's involved as a coach and an athletic director in the college scene. Just a wonderful guy, and we're so sad. We pass along condolences, of course, to his family and many friends around the league.
Well, I tell you what, he was a great man. He recruited me when he was a coach at Creighton, and tried to get me to come play for the Blue Jays. And he almost had me till he mentioned the word Creighton. And then I was like, nah, did he even do it? He got a team? I don't even know. But they had Benoit Benjamin. He coached Benoit Benjamin, who ended up playing for the Clippers as a big man. But really, really great. I remember him coming to my house and just barely could get through the door. He was just a big guy. And back in those days when, your parents, your mom had plastic on the furniture. And he sat on the couch with the plastic on the furniture, man. And almost all the plastic came off. Almost like just pulled off from the scene. He was a big dude.
Yeah. But
R.I.P. to the great Willis Reed.
Yeah, people remember the classic story in the 1970 finals where he had a serious leg injury. He came off and played the first couple of minutes and hit a couple of jumpers as they won their first championship. He led them titles in 1970 and 1973. You guys have the photo?
I just want to say, Princeton, we're going to win this, guys.
There he is,
Princeton,
Stacey, the proud alumni.
Look, guys,
of,
look at that suit and tie. I just look at that. I just got my
Princeton
master's.
Man of the Year.
I got my master's in that picture right there.
Yeah.
So I just want to throw that out there. Let's go Tigers.
Sweet 16, baby.
Do it for PC Pete Carrillo. We're gonna win. We're gonna win this. If we don't, I'm jumping whoever beats you. Okay, so if you lose, whoever beats them, I'm jumping on that squad. I'll be the man of the year on their photo. So there.
You can always tell a Princeton man, just can't tell him much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
What, does this come from a Northwestern guy? Did y'all?
That's what we say about all those Ivy League guys.
How far did you get in the tournament?
They made a nice run.
Hey, we won and almost
they gave
won that
UCLA
second
scare.
game. They gave them a scare.
You didn't win though.
It's still a
Are
scare.
you playing this weekend?
No.
Okay. America,
Just like whispers.
America, I just want to say that when I was in
good
college,
thing you
and I
went to
played.
Princeton.
Oh, let me tell you something. When I was in college, America, all jokes aside, I never did. I constantly got to the second week. Sweet 16 was automatic. We didn't even have to play the first two games. We already going to be in the Sweet 16. Okay. I've been to the Elite Eight. I've been to the Final Four. I've been to the championship game. I've done it all.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I've done it all, baby.
Folks on
All
YouTube being treated to a Stacey King dance
That's right,
here in the
baby.
Sriracha
Hey,
Shut it
Studios.
down. Shut it down. Let's shut it down.
Don't blow out your patella.
Come on, man. I'm sitting down. How the hell can I blow out
Hey,
my
you can get her going to the bathroom.
That's
We're
right.
doing
That's
that.
right,
yeah,
Mark.
Yeah, you get her going to the bathroom,
Yeah.
baby.
Hey, that's going to bring close to episode 123 of Give Me the Hot Sauce. I want to thank our special guest, Tim Brando. We got some special guests coming up in the future.
Ooh.
I don't want to drop any names.
No, we're not
but
dropping any names.
Make sure that you listen each and every week. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast carrier. I want to thank the folks at Odyssey for promoting us.
I may drop his name, though, Mark.
Okay.
If you like Chippendale dancers, you like Hooter girls, they're coming.
All right. Well, that cleared things up. Stacey, say goodbye to the folks.
Drive home safely, Chicago, beep, beep. Princeton.
Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time. Windy City Assassin.